Yo, so there's been a few articles written about MLB 21 recently, and today we're going to be recapping the gameplay portions from Push Square's article. If you want to read the whole thing, it should be linked down in that description. It's a great article. If y'all could do me a huge favor, leave a like on this video, subscribe for some more MLB The Show content, and leave a comment letting me know which pitching method you plan to use in MLB 21. I'll probably try pinpoint at the beginning, but I feel like I'll end up switching back to pure analog. And just a warning to you right now, this video has a ton of reading. The article and the interview was super detailed, and I highly recommend that you check out the entire thing on Push Square's website. Again, it should be linked down in the description. Number one is about pinpoint pitching, and the question is, so in a recent live stream, you introduced the new pinpoint pitching mechanic, and we're really excited to try that out. However, it's a very complicated system, so can you talk a little more about how that gets from the prototype stage to being put in the game? And the answer was, it's definitely complicated. It's the hardest pitching method to master, but it's also the most accurate. So with all game design choices, you're always trying to find the balance. Pinpoint pitching, the genesis of that feature came from this idea that our fans wanted a more accurate way to pitch, and we looked at all the pitching methods and said, that's not here already. Kyle Saw decided, let's do a gesture pitching style where you do gestures with the right analog stick. If you can nail your gestures, because we're grading you on 3 different levels, your pitches go pretty much exactly where you want them to go. That's great, but the flip side is that you have to nail everything. There's a lot of balance and depth and variety in every pitching motion, and we're just really excited about the feature and how people take to it. And from what I've seen and heard, it looks like players will love this if they get it mastered, but it also looks like it could be really difficult to consistently do well with. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing or if I want to be doing a whole bunch of different analog motions and everything for the entire game other than just up and down like I already do for pure analog, but I'm sure I'm at least going to give it a try. But it does seem pretty complicated, and I'm not sure if that's something that I can master or am willing to take the time to master. Number 2 is about the over 1,000 new gameplay animations, and the question is, can you tell me a little bit more about your motion capture process? Sony San Diego has a motion capture studio as part of your office, and recently you talked about the fielding and all the animations you've added. How does that process come together? Are you literally playing baseball in a motion capture studio? And the answer is yeah, exactly. Chris Clements, our animation director, and Chris Gill, our gameplay director, go over to our motion capture studio, which is maybe a 2-block walk from our new studio, and we literally have a list of thousands of animations we need to capture in any given year. And so we have a mound that we ship from Santa Monica, and we're literally playing baseball in a giant warehouse, and that's how we get every animation for the game. We added over 1,000 new gameplay animations for MLB The Show 21. To me, it seems like every year the game just gets smoother and more realistic, and I think a lot of that stems from how many new gameplay animations get added per year. They also mentioned in a feature premiere a few weeks ago that a lot of these new animations this year will be fixing fielding issues from MLB 20, largely ones where players had trouble fielding the ball when they should not have had trouble fielding the ball, especially by the wall. I know that was a huge problem in MLB 20. Number 3 is about the ball player feature, and the question is, one of the best things about MLB The Show 20 and previous versions is the way everything feeds into Diamond Dynasty to an extent. One of the things you've talked about with the new game is how your Road to the Show player will transfer across to Diamond Dynasty as well. So you can talk about how you've balanced that. And the answer is, you no longer have a Diamond Dynasty player and a Road to the Show player. You now have a centralized ball player. This very important distinction. Your centralized ball player is who you take through all of the modes. That's Road to the Show and Diamond Dynasty. You can use them in programs and moments. However, the Diamond Dynasty and Road to the Show experience are still very separate. They're just sharing the same player now. I think it's really cool that your Road to the Show player is now your creative player for Diamond Dynasty, and vice versa. I'm interested to see how much time it takes to level up and progress your character in each mode and how good you can become. Can you be better in Road to the Show, or would it be exactly the same? Is there anything like that? Is it going to be way faster to level up in Road to the Show or Diamond Dynasty? Is it going to be pretty balanced? And they also mentioned in the feature premiere this week that this is just the foundation year for the ball player, and hopefully that means that there's big things and additions coming to the ball player feature in future years. I know that I think a lot of you guys are hoping for a sandlot type of mode, maybe something similar to Park in 2K. Number 4 is about Stadium Creator and has a few questions. The first one is, so obviously one of the big new additions this year is the Stadium Creator, something that a lot of people have been asking for. In one of the recent trailers, there's a clip where you see some alien spacecrafts in the skyline. How creative can we expect to get? And the answer is exactly. There's a mothership in the trailer. You can get fairly creative. Jonathan Ramsey, who's the lead graphics programmer for Stadium Creator, this is all he's been working on for over 2 years. Literally, he's been sitting in his office trying to figure out how to deliver this feature in a way that's going to make our community happy. We've been thinking about it for 7 years and working on it for about 5. And between Ramsey and principal designer Michael Compton, they've created one of the most powerful designers in any video game I've ever seen. You can basically create whatever you want, and the editor's very smart. Let's say stands, for example, because that was always going to be a head scratcher. Like, how do we get the stands right if we let people change the outfield walls? So what's really intelligent about the editor is that it knows if you're moving stands and it'll try to pull them together. And that's really great, because if you're trying to put in another stand, the game will say, okay, I see what you're doing, and it'll just snap in. So we spent a lot of time trying to make the editor as intuitive as possible, but you can go as crazy as you want. And so we've attacked that in 2 ways. First, there are 30 different created stadiums that we designed that will be in the game, and you can edit and share to your heart's content. Second, if you want to start from scratch where there's nothing but grass and you want to build everything, you can do that as well. I think it's really cool that they have 30 preset new stadiums that you can start your stadium creation on, or if you want, you can just pretty much have a blank canvas where you're starting from scratch. Again, a lot of reading in this video. I'm sorry if it's too much for y'all. And I'm really expecting just big things though from Stadium Creator if they've been working on it for about 5 years. And I really wish it was on current gen consoles, and I'm sorry, and it sucks that it's not, but I'm excited to see how creative people can get with the Stadium Creator. And I just know that especially with the insane logos that people have been able to make with that logo creator, we're going to be seeing some incredible stadium creations. The second question is, so what's to stop someone from building a giant wall and stopping anyone from ever getting a home run? Is that something you can do? The answer was, it's something you can do, but you won't be able to use it online. The way that we attack competitive balance so that creative stadiums can be used online without griefing is we have over 150 outfield wall presets. If you use one of those presets and don't change anything, your stadium can be used online. If you change anything on the outfield wall, it's now invalid, and there's a little indicator with a bat in the top right corner of the screen, and once you touch that wall, it turns red and you cannot use it online. But everything else you can change. You can pick the grass patterns, you can put 50 UFOs in the background, you can choose your batter's eye, you can mess with all that stuff, but the dimensions of the field, that is how we do competitive balancing. I'm super happy that they have competitive balancing for online play, but I also really hope that that does not include play with friends, right? I want to be able to play people in my crazy stadiums or in their crazy stadiums, and I think it would suck if that wasn't possible. The third and final question for Stadium Creator is, but you could theoretically go crazy and use it offline if you wanted to, and the answer is absolutely. You could go crazy and have a green monster on the left and the right side. This is a shorter question and answer, which I'm definitely happy about, not as much reading, but it's still cool to hear, and it makes me wonder if there's any limitations at all for the offline stadiums, or would I be able to have, 50-foot fences that are 2 feet high, or is there any minimum and maximum requirements for my offline ballparks for them to be usable? Number 5 is about PS5 specific features, and the question is, apart from the Stadium Creator, can you talk a little bit about some of the new things that you're doing with the PS5 version specifically? How have you improved the presentation, for example? Are you using the DualSense controller at all? And the answer is yes, we have DualSense support and 3D audio support. Gameplay is going to be a smooth 60 frames per second, and when you're playing in Road to the Show this year, we have a visual podcast podcast, which really helps draw you into what you're doing and how it's affecting Major League Baseball. Those features are only available on the next gen versions of the game. The Road to the Show podcast on current gen is just audio, but on next gen, you get the video clips. I'm interested to see what the DualSense support is like, because I personally was not a huge fan of it on the new Call of Duty. The 3D audio sounds like it should be pretty sick with headphones on, and then I'm assuming that the 60 FPS will also be available on the next gen Xbox. And in general, I'm really hoping that the frames aren't terrible though on current gen. And based on the feature premiere, it sounds like the visual podcast seems pretty cool and will help make Road to the Show a little bit more immersive. And I'm glad that the audio is at least there on current gen, even if you don't get the visual parts. The second and final question for this topic is, and are you working with recognized broadcasters? The answer is yes. We have Robert Flores, who's a friend of the studio, Cliff Floyd, Sean Casey, a lot of talent from all over the sports world, and a lot of talent from MLB Network, and a few guest surprises that people will have to play the game and discover for themselves. And that has me really intrigued, right? From all over the sports world, number one, and then a few guest surprises, right? Like, what does that mean? I know people were saying, oh, maybe Giraffe Neck Mark or Fuzzy, John Boy, someone like that. I'm wondering if other things like a Sports Center anchor or something. I'm just really curious to see who we're getting, you know, maybe Alex Rodriguez or something is talking about this hot new ball player. I'm not sure, but it has me really excited to see the special guests and the talent from the sports world and other areas and everything that are going to be part of the Road to the Show experience. And I think it's just awesome that they have real people from MLB Network, and they actually have some MLB Network stuff in the game, which they've had the scoreboard and kind of presentation a little bit for a while. But I feel like all of this should just make Road to the Show a lot more immersive. Number 6, and the final topic we're talking about in this video, is the new onboarding process. And the question is that something you feel can help broaden the appeal of the game in terms of teaching people how to play? Answer is yes. We spent a lot of time on our onboarding process. We have 3 new gameplay styles, and one of them is called casual mode. And so in casual mode, it's something we want our users to select if they're new to the game or confused about anything. In casual mode, the AI isn't really trying to beat you, and we've really placed the emphasis on learning the game of baseball as well as MLB The Show. Every single pitching method, like pinpoint, which we discussed earlier, we teach you how to use those and how to be successful, and we'll go through all of them. Same thing with hitting and fielding, and it also has all of our new fielding onboarding aids. We have a route to ball indicators that show you this is the path you should take to catch the ball. We have diving jump assist that let you know this is when you should jump. We have off the wall indicators that let you know, hey, the ball is going to play off the wall. So all of our onboarding and all of our beginner type features are in our casual mode this year, and all you have to do is turn it on, and we'll explain everything about how to play MLB The Show 21. I like that they've added the casual and then the other gameplay styles in the game this year. It sounds like all of this stuff should be making it just a lot more accessible, and I think it's really cool that the tutorial stuff is available for those people who want it and or need it. And I know that I'm gonna be needing it for pinpoint pitching, and I'm really hoping that there's some onboarding stuff for base running, because I suck at base running. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'm sorry there was a ton of reading, but please leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you are new, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow.